this lesson, you're going to learn the 5 steps that you need to know in order to play an emotional, moody, dark blues. Now I'm going to give you some advanced tips, but most of these are going to be easy enough for even a beginner to start using today. Let's jump in. Step 1 is to keep it slow. You're going to want to keep it to about 60 BPM, which is about this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a... Step 2 is using the blues form. You want to follow a strict 12-bar blues form on this, but you're going to want to use all minor chords. So usually in blues, we play a lot of 7th chords. Here, if you're gonna play a 7th chord, it has to be a minor 7th chord. It's gonna be best to start out in the key of E minor. So that means we have E minor. You're gonna place that in the 12-bar blues. Everywhere where it says a 1, let's replace that with an E minor. Everywhere where it says a 4, we're gonna replace that with an A minor. And then everywhere where it says a 5, we're gonna replace that with a B minor. Now already this is gonna start sounding really moody, really emotional. But we want to spice this up a little bit, make it even more emotional. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to play fancier chords. So not just minor chords, we're going to play minor 9th chords. And they sound like this, E minor 9. This is called an E minor 9th chord, and it's so easy to play, just 2 fingers. We're going to have the first finger here on the 2nd fret of the A string. Any other finger, I'm using my pinky, on the 4th fret of the D string. And it's just a cooler sounding E minor chord. Now another one we have, you got E minor 7 here, which is going to sound great. E minor 6, which also sounds great. And then here's another E minor 9. A minor 9. This one sounds so cool too. It's easy to play, just 2 fingers again. 7th fret on the D string, 5th fret on the G string. It's really cool because it has this open B note. That's what gives it the 9th sound. You also might notice that the way I'm playing these 9th chords has a big effect on like how it sounds. I'm doing what we call an up rake or an upstroke slowly, almost like a kind of a quick arpeggio, but I'm just slowly going from the top string to the bottom string. And just a slow upward strum, and it just sounds so cool because of the cool rub against these 2 notes. Sometimes I think it's cool to go back to just a regular E minor. And then every time you do that 9th chord, do that up rake. It's fun, it sounds awesome. So we got this A minor. Let's look at some other voicings. We got A minor 7 if you put the pinky down here on the 8th fret. You might even want to slide that down to an A minor 6. We got the 7th fret of the B string. Another A minor 9 is this voicing here. And here's an A minor 6. If you want to come up the neck, here's another E minor 9 that sounds great. Now we still need to add the B minor chords. So for B minor, we have, obviously you can just use a regular B minor bar chord grip. That's not everybody's favorite chord. We also have this B minor 7 bar chord grip up here. But an easier one that you can play is this voicing. And this is gonna be a lot easier if you're a beginner. And it still has that dark, emotional, moody vibe that you need. But what about that B minor 9? Well, one of the best ones is up here. kind of tough to play though. We're reaching out to the 11th fret of the D string while holding this regular B minor 9. It's a big stretch, but it's possible if you've been playing for a little bit. Another voicing would be just this one. This is a B minor 9 in the open position, and this one sounds pretty good too. Number 4 is something easy to add if you can do a little bit of finger picking. You can also do this with a pick, but it's arpeggio picking. So anytime you have any of these fancy chords, now here with arpeggio picking, I'm literally just taking the chord shapes and holding my left hand still, and then plucking notes from that chord with the right hand. Arpeggio picking is as easy as that. Just go up and down, like if you're on the A minor 9 here. You can see I'm just going up and down with my fingers. And it almost sounds like you're playing riffs, but you're really just picking through the chords that you've already learned. Add some of that arpeggio picking in with just some gentle strumming, and it's gonna sound great. If you're strumming, a thing that's gonna sound great is something that we call tone dynamics. Dynamics is change over time. And what we're changing here is the tone, instead of usual dynamics, which is gonna just be loud and soft. But with tone dynamics, you can play up here for a warm tone, or next to the bridge for a bright tone. Bright is the opposite of warm. Let's go to bright. And back to warm. And of course, the material that you're plucking the strings with, either your fingers, the pad parts of your fingers, they're gonna be more warm sounding versus if you do nails. That's more bright sounding. Remember, warm and bright are opposites. Warm and dark mean the same thing a lot of times, because bright is the opposite. So you wanna change that up. Tone dynamics. Bright. Step 5 is adding riffs. Now, we can go into a lot of detail about adding riffs. I'm gonna give you some short tips right now that you can use, and then I'll go into more detail for FGA members and an extended video in the FGA member community. Here's some tips you can use right now. Try this. What I'm doing there is when I'm playing over the E minor, I'm playing up the E minor scale on the 2nd string. The reason I'm using that string is because you can play both the E and B strings simultaneously. Which has like an extra kind of, what I like to describe as kind of a dirty type blues sound. It has that extra cool sound. It just sounds like you're doing something extra when really you're just droning the high E string. And that's a great way to just start to add some riffs into your playing. Now, where you want to use these riffs is as a lead up to the chord change. For example, when you're playing over the E minor, we have 4 bars of that E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Arpeggio. Now this is the last bar. So notice that led the ear to this A minor 9 voicing because it kind of created some tension, lets the listener know, oh, something's going to change. And then now it lands right at that point where we go to the next chord. So try to place little riffs like that right before the chord change. Let's try that again, going from the A minor back to the E minor. It sounds like this. A minor. So now we're on that A minor 9. Second bar, 1, 2, here we go, riff. Back to that E minor. Let's do a riff up to that B. Now we're in this bar chord A. Let's do an up rake. Now what about riffs over that B minor? The B minor, you can use the same strategies, but check it out. If you do this bar chord, you got all these Hendrix type sounds. And then the same position here, all the same notes. And again, we're using riffs to kind of build tension to go to the next chord change. So try these out, have fun with it, mess around with different ideas. Remember these 5 steps, and you're gonna be playing a dark blues today. Now, if you're an FGA member, head on over to the community. I'm gonna do an extended lesson here, teach you a little bit more about how to add riffs to this. I'll see you there.